Hello there, it's midnight and you are tuning in to Nightline with me, Nadia Azmi. The top stories. PAS retains Kemaman seat with more than 37,000 majority. Also, chance for peace and ceasefire in Gaza lost for now. Good morning. As Israel's atrocities continue to escalate on the second day following the collapse of the week-long truce, Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said that the chance for peace in Gaza is now lost due to the Zionist regime's uncompromising approach. Despite this, Erdogan expressed that he is not losing hope for a lasting peace in the conflict, adding that Hamas cannot be excluded from a potential solution. However, Qatar, which led the talks that produced the week-long humanitarian pause, said it will persist in seeking a renewed agreement, but warned that the resumption of hostilities is complicating matters. It also said it is committed to continuing the efforts that led to the humanitarian pause and will not hesitate to do everything necessary to return to calm. In the meantime, Qatar also demanded an immediate ceasefire and to ensure the continuous and unhindered flow of relief convoys and humanitarian aid in a way that meets the actual needs of the residents of the besieged enclave strip. In the meantime, Israel announced the withdrawal of its Mossad negotiators from Qatar, citing a deadlock in the negotiations. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in a statement on Saturday, said following the impasse in the negotiations, he had instructed head of the Mossad David Barnea to order his team in Doha to return to Israel. Meanwhile, the Zionist regime continued to intensify its shelling on Gaza, hitting more than 400 targets overnight, including the southern Khan Yunis area, where tens of thousands of civilians evacuated over the past month. According to the Gaza Health Ministry, at least 240 Palestinians, including children and women, have been killed since the truce ended on Friday morning. It was reported that on Saturday, most of the Israeli warplanes and artillery bombarded the southern part of the Gaza Strip, targeting mosques, homes and a hospital. The Zionist regime attacks and raids have also persisted in the occupied West Bank, resulting in 2 Palestinians being wounded after being shot and 7 people were arrested. As of now, the death toll in Gaza has surged to 15,207, with over 40,000 Palestinians left injured. Meanwhile, Palestinians once again are facing fear and anxiety after a respite during the week-long ceasefire that had allowed them an opportunity to rest.
الحياة صعبة كتير عن جد يعني ارتمينا احنا روحنا ايام الهدنة نرتاح في دورنا وارتحنا كم من يوم وبدرنا صار اللي صار رجع الخوف والقلق عن جد حدا يحنا.
شوف هاي الدمار معسكر كامل يباد في قنابل الله على ايش هي هذه القنابل بادونا وبادوا المعسكر كله وبادوا غزة ما ضلش فينا حد هيك العرب كلهم بدهم يموتونا. هل هنالك هل تم
Terengganu Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Ahmad Samsuri Mokhtar has retained the Kemaman parliamentary seat for PAS with a bigger majority of 37,220 votes. He secured a total of 64,998 votes in a straight fight against his rival from Barisan Nasional, retired General Tan Sri Raja Muhammad Afandi Raja Muhammad Noor, who bagged 27,778 votes. The result was announced by Election Commission Returning Officer Ahmad Farhan Abdul Wahab at Dewan Berlian of the Kemaman Municipal Council Tallying Centre at 10:10 p.m. There were 428 spoilt votes, while the voter turnout for the by-election was 65%. Samsuri, who is also PAS vice president, surpassed the previous majority by 10,041 votes. In the 15th general election GE15, Perikatan Nasional's candidate, Che alias Hamid, secured a majority of 27,179 votes, defeating 3 other contenders. The by-election was called following an election court decision on September 26, annulling Che alias's victory in GE15 last year. The election court held that the distribution of government aid to voters during the campaign period constituted election bribery. Now, Dato' Ashraf Wajdi Dusuki has thanked loyal Barisan Nasional BN voters for still believing in the coalition's struggle. In a Facebook post, the UMNO Secretary-General also thanked the entire BN election machinery nationwide who gave their all in Kemaman for more than 14 days before and throughout the campaign period. He also called on all BN supporters not to be disheartened by the defeat in the Kemaman by-election. In the post, Ashraf also congratulated PAS for their victory in the Kemaman by-election. The outcome of the polls also means that Perikatan Nasional retains its 69 parliamentary seats, while 152 members of parliament support the unity government. A new digital system is being implemented by the EC in the Kemaman by-election as a pilot test to improve the electoral system in the country. Its chairman, Tan Sri Abdul Ghani Saleh, however, said details about the system could not be revealed to the public until the system runs smoothly.
Yang ini nanti kita akan beritahulah. Sebab yang ini untuk kali pertama KTM mengikuti semua maklumat itu dalam sistem. Kita tengok segi kelancaran dia. Sebelum ini kita punya pegawai-pegawai kita, pegawai bimbing kita yang masuk ke data-data ni untuk orang 13, 14, 15 ni.
He told this to reporters after monitoring the voting process at SMK Geliga Kemaman on Saturday. He added that the new system is intended to facilitate EC officers in handling the election process and would speed up the announcement of the election results. Police have initiated an investigation into a fracas that occurred between BN and PAS supporters in Kemaman on Friday evening. In light of the incident, Deputy Inspector General of Police Datuk Sri Ayub Khan Maide Pichen on Saturday reminded supporters of both political parties to avoid situations that could lead to provocations, as they could escalate into something more serious.
Kalau dilihat daripada insiden tersebut, flash mob melibatkan 2 pihak. Satu pihak yang ada sedang buat flash mob dan satu pihak lagi pun hadir untuk buat flash mob. Jadi bertembung. Bila bertembung ni, jadilah aksi-aksi provokasi, tolak-menolak dan menggunakan bahasa-bahasa kesat.
In the 6 p.m. incident, supporters from both BN and PAS had converged at the Jalan Sulaimani traffic light junction in Chukai to hold a flash mob, which turned chaotic when a scuffle broke out between the 2 groups. The heated situation was quickly diffused by a group of policemen who were present at the scene, and the unruly crowd was immediately ordered to disperse. Ayub also warned all party supporters not to hold any gatherings or post-election parades to avoid causing public disorder. He stressed that authorities will continue to monitor the situation and will not hesitate to take stern action against anyone who threatens public safety and order during the post-election period. In a related development, UMNO Youth Chief Muhammad Akmal Saleh has denied accusations that his side started the provocations that led to the quarrel.
Saya turun, kita dengan tenang. Ada video saya turun tu. Kita turun tak ada buat apa-apa provokasi sekalipun. Tetapi apabila saya lihat kawan saya yang tengah sebelah kereta nak masuk semula untuk memastikan jalannya itu, nak masuk kereta, pintu ditendang dan terkena pada beliau.
Meanwhile, Ayub revealed that police have opened an investigation paper against Perikatan Nasional Chairman Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin for allegedly making statements that touched on the issue of race, religion and royalty, or 3R, during campaigning for the Kemaman by-election recently. The investigation against Muhyiddin, who is also the Bersatu President, is being carried out under the Election Offences Act for promoting feelings or ill will or hostility.
Ini berhubung dengan kenyataan Muhammad Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin berhubung dengan penghijrahan penyokong UMNO ke dalam satu atau PAS yang dikategorikan sebagai penghijrahan, menyamakan perpindahan ini sebagai penghijrahan sebab itu zaman Rasulullah SAW. Ini secara tidak langsung mencetuskan satu keadaan yang tidak harmoni.
He told this to reporters after observing the voting process at the polling centre at SK Bukit Mentau on Saturday. Ayub added that the investigation is being carried out following a police report lodged against Muhyiddin on Friday. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah witnessed the exchange of documents on renewable energy investments in Malaysia at a ceremony held in Dubai, United Arab Emirates on Friday. Also gracing the ceremony were Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Azizah Aminah Maimunah Iskandaria and Pahang Regent Tengku Hasanal Ibrahim Alam Shah Al-Sultan Abdullah. In an Instagram post on Saturday, Istana Negara informed that the exchange of documents involved Malaysian companies and the Pahang government with Abu Dhabi Future Energy Company PJSC Masdar, a renewable energy company based in Abu Dhabi. The Malaysian companies include Tenaga Nasional Berhad, Sita Global Berhad, Malakoff Berhad, Saipak Resources Berhad and Tawau Energy Sindran Berhad, as well as the Pahang State Secretary's office. The document exchange ceremony took place after the opening ceremony of the Malaysian Pavilion by the King at Expo City in Dubai. Al-Sultan Abdullah and Tunku Azizah are in Abu Dhabi for a special visit until December 4th. The special visit is in conjunction with the 28th Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change COP28, which is taking place from November 30th to December 12th. Sarawak and Sabah's autonomy on health and education is among the agendas that will be given priority in the Malaysia Agreement 1963 MA63 Technical Committee meeting in January. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Fadilah Yusof said the two agendas were among the matters being refined by the committee before it is brought to the MA63 Implementation Committee meeting chaired by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim.
Itu sebahagian yang dibincangkan, apa perkara-perkara yang boleh diserahkan kuasa pentadbirannya pada kajian negeri ataupun jabatan di peringkat negeri. Kedua-dualah untuk pendidikan dan juga kesihatan.
He was met after officiating the closing of the Technical Skills and Vocational Training TVET promotion program in Kuching, Sarawak on Saturday. According to Fadilah, the meeting should have been held on December 5th but had to be postponed to another date next month. Fadilah, who is heading the MA63 Technical Committee, said the meeting had to be postponed since many ministers from Sarawak, Sabah and Peninsular Malaysia were unable to be present due to their respective duties abroad to attend the United Nations Climate Change Conference COP28 in Dubai from November 30th to December 12th. Sarawak had previously called for the autonomy of health and education to be handed over to the state from the federal government as stipulated in the MA63. The claim is to ensure that the management of the two matters can be carried out more smoothly, especially regarding the improvement of infrastructure and the placement of staff for the two areas involved. The Prime Minister's Department for Religious Affairs through the Malaysian Islamic Economic Development Foundation (YAPEM) is looking into avenues to regulate the collection of humanitarian donations by non-governmental organisations (NGOs). Its Minister, Datuk Muhammad Naim Mukhtar, said this was to prevent NGOs from taking advantage of the generosity of the people in the country. According to Naim, the move would allow YAPEM to blacklist any NGOs found to have misappropriated public donations. He added the government wants to prevent NGOs from manipulating the public by establishing emergency funds to collect donations, which ultimately are not channeled to the intended beneficiaries. He also advised the public to check the background of the NGOs concerned before giving their donation. The minister also recommended the public to donate to the Department of Islamic Development Malaysia, JAKIM's Musa'dah Rahmah Madani Fund, Yayasan Wakaf Malaysia, or NGOs registered with YAPIM, Yayasan Dakwah Islamiyah Malaysia and Yayasan Taqwa. The police have arrested a disabled Form 1 student to assist in the investigation into an alleged molesting case involving 14 schoolmates in Kepala Batas Pulau Pinang. Seberang Perai Selatan District Police Chief ACP Muhammad Asri Shafi said the police arrested the 13-year-old boy after receiving a report from the school's principal on Friday. In a statement, he said the principal lodged a police report that 14 male students aged 13 to 14 with disabilities ranging from vision, learning and hearing impairment and autism were allegedly molested by a Form 1 student in the school's dormitory. He said further investigations are still being carried out, including locating witnesses and recording the statements of the victims involved. The case is being investigated under Section 14 of the Sexual Offences Against Children Act 2017, which provides imprisonment not exceeding 20 years and whipping upon conviction. At least one killed in Indonesia flash flood. News from the foreign front after this short break.
Yang, kau tahu yang isu viral sekarang ni? Ngapainlah kau sibuk? Baik kita sibuk macam mana kita mau fikir, minta tolong orang untuk undi kita supaya kita menang persembahan terbaik ini minggu. Itu senang saja. Kamu kena subscribe Tonton Up untuk dapat 50 kali undi. Kalau tidak subscribe, 10 undi jangan boleh dapat buat. Lepas itu saya dengar kalau orang undi banyak pun orang akan dapat hadiah banyak. Bijak. Jadi korang tolonglah undi kami supaya kami boleh menang persembahan terbaik ini minggu. Undi.
Kaedah kontraseptif atau perancangan keluarga dapat membantu mengawal bilangan anak atau menjarakkan kelahiran dalam sesebuah keluarga. Antara kaedah yang ada ialah penggunaan alat dalam rahim dan kaedah hormon seperti pil perancang. Yang manakah pilihan terbaik? Ketahui jawapannya dalam topik perancangan keluarga di Hello Doktor Ahad 5.30 petang di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Welcome back. At least one person was killed while 11 others were missing after flash floods and landslides hit Indonesia's North Sumatra province on Friday night. The disaster in Humpang Hasundutan district unfolded after prolonged heavy rainfall, triggering a flood carrying large boulders, tree trunks, branches and a mixture of mud and water. Officials on Saturday said that rescue teams had retrieved one body so far, while they are still searching for the other 11 missing. It added that heavy machinery equipment has been used to remove mud from the scene where the victims were suspected to be buried. The National Disaster Management Agency also said that up to 50 families were forced to flee as the disaster had destroyed 12 houses and buildings. North Korea considered any interference with its satellite operations a declaration of war and would mobilize its war deterrence if any attack against its strategic assets were imminent. According to a statement released on Saturday by a spokesman for the North's Defense Ministry, Pyongyang would respond to any U.S. interference in space by eliminating the viability of U.S. spy satellites. The statement came after a U.S. official's remark that Washington could deny an adversary's space capabilities using a variety of means, referring to the North's successful spy satellite launch in late November. Meanwhile, South Korea confirmed on Saturday that its first military spy satellite had reached orbit after a successful SpaceX rocket launch and that communication was established with ground control. Reaching orbit means that South Korea now has its first domestically built spy satellite to monitor nuclear-armed North Korea. In the U.S., at least 5 people were shot on Friday, one of them fatally, in a homeless encampment in Las Vegas. According to authorities, police responded to a shooting on the city's east side soon after 5:30 p.m. local time. It was reported that one of the victims was pronounced dead at the scene, while the 4 others were treated for their injuries at a medical center. Investigators, in the meantime, were trying to determine the suspect who fired the shots and what led to the violence. The shooting comes less than a week after 3 homeless people were killed in separate but similar incidents in Los Angeles. Selangor secure ACL spot. Sports after this breather.
Layan tonton di mana-mana jua dan stream sekarang secara percuma. Tapi langgan lagi layan tau. Dari serendah RM9.90 je. Imbas kod QR untuk langgan tonton sekarang.
Wei Kim, jom kita buat gimmick sikit. Kau buka spek mata kau tu.
Kenapa pula?
Adalah, tunjuklah kat peminat kau tu yang mata kau yang lawa tu. Mana tahu kita dapat undian persembahan terbaik.
Tak, diorang tak rasa susah. Diorang kena subscribe, tonton up. Baru diorang boleh undi 50 kali. Kalau tak 10 kali, senang ya? Senang. Jadi korang semua kena undi. Hakim dan juga Barat. Alright. Sebab apa?
Sebab kita nak menang.
Kita nak menang.
We're back with sports. Football, the 2023 Super League. Selangor FC secured their ticket to next season's AFC Champions League 2 following a much-needed 1-0 victory over Kedah Darul Aman FC. Playing at the Darul Aman Stadium, the Red Giants' winner came 4 minutes after the hour mark through Colombian Aaron Delville. KDA piled up the pressure against the Red Giants in search for an equaliser but failed to capitalise on the chances. With the victory, Selangor are confirmed as the runner-up this season with 58 points, while KDA finished third, 5 points behind Selangor. Still on football, the Saudi Pro League. Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr suffered a 3-0 to Al Hilal in the Riyadh Derby to fall further behind their bitter rivals at the top of the standings. After a goalless first half, former Lazio midfielder Sergej Milinkovic-Savic headed home the opener in the 64th minute, beating Nawaf Al-Aqidi. Alexander Mitrovic then nodded in Al Hilal's second in the 89th minute with Salim Al-Dawsari as the provider. The Serbian forward completed the rout in the drawing minutes as he cut inside Aymeric Laporte and struck the ball through Al-Aqidi's legs, sealing a 3-0 victory. With the win, Al Hilal remained unbeaten, 7 points clear of Al Nassr. Up next, teenager who tried to stab e-hailing driver to be charged on Sunday. Don't go away.
Om, apa beza kau dengan katak?
Katak boleh melompat.
Salah.
Habis tu?
Dua-dua boleh panggil hujan.
Lucu. Baik kau bagi tahu apa bezanya subscribe tonton up.
Apa dia?
Okey, bezanya kalau kita tidak subscribe tonton up, kita cuma boleh mengundi 10 kali. Tapi kalau kau subscribe tonton up, kau boleh mengundi 50 kali.
Oh, kalau macam gitu, kamu panggil orang-orang kampung undi cepat.
Dan korang juga berpeluang untuk menangi hadiah.
Jadikan ketidaksempurnaan sebagai sumber kekuatan diri dan inspirasi.
Umur dia lebih kurang dalam 12 tahun, dia dah boleh buat burger dah. Mana yang simple tu bagi dia buat lah.
Hasil seni Farahin dia sangat teliti. Dia ada dia punya identiti.
Bahan utama kita adalah jangit, kacau sebati, kita hiaskan dengan cili merah.
Perkahwinan yang dikatakan wedding of the year.
Selamat melayari bahtera, terus berkasih sayang.
Abang, I love you forever.
Welcome back. The local government development ministry has given campsite operators 2 years to comply with the campsite planning guidelines GPP issued on Saturday. Its minister Ngakor Ming said the guidelines, which come into effect this month, are intended for the proper management and operation of campsites on the part of the authorities, entrepreneurs and campsite operators and the public. According to Nga, the 6 guiding principles of campsite planning cover safety, comfort, sustainability, social continuity, economic prosperity, and legal compliance. He added all 6 principles must be followed so that visitors to the licensed camping site will feel safe, adding that it includes having camping sites at least 10 meters away from waterfall areas.
Pertama, daripada kesesuaian lokasi. Kedua, tempat tersebut yang memang boleh dimajukan. Ketiga, semua kemudahan awam yang wajib disediakan di tapak perkemahan seperti tandas, seperti mungkin ada surau, seperti ada tempat lighting, internet dan lain-lain.
He said this at a media conference after launching the GPP in Ipoh on Saturday. He also stressed that the guidelines were prepared not to punish anyone but to help existing and new campsite operators. The preparation of the GPP is a consequence of the landslide tragedy at a campsite in Batangkali, Selangor on December 16th last year, which claimed 31 lives. A 13-year-old boy who attempted to stab and rob an e-hailing driver recently is expected to be charged at the Sungai Petani Magistrates Court on Sunday. Kuala Muda District Police Chief ACP Zaidi Che Hassan said the charge was made after the case was referred to the public prosecutor. The teenager will be charged under Section 393 of the Penal Code. In the incident, at about 6 p.m. on November 27th, the boy tried to stab and rob an e-hailing driver in Taman Keladi, Sungai Petani. The e-hailing driver, aged 65, did not sustain any injuries, but instead bit the suspect's hand and managed to disarm the suspect, after which the teenager got out of the car and fled. The teenager's actions were recorded by the dashboard camera installed in the e-hailing driver's car, and the 1 minute and 32-second video went viral on social media. The teenager was arrested by police at 10 p.m. following a report made by the driver at 8 p.m. on the day of the incident. Three local men have been arrested by police believed to be involved in an armed robbery at a convenience store in Kampung Johan Setia Klang, Selangor on November 29th. All suspects, aged between 23 and 35 years old, were arrested in separate raids between 8:30 and 11 p.m. in Kampung Bunga Raya Kuang and Bukit Tinggi. In a statement, Klang Selatan District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Cha Hung Fong said the arrest was made after receiving a report from the convenience store owner. In a viral video, the suspects are seen posing as customers, wandering around the store as if searching for items to buy. Additionally, the suspects were observed carrying equipment such as wood and mosquito repellent before committing the crime. The suspects also intimidated the store owner by spraying mosquito repellent towards the victim. After a brief moment, 2 suspects entered the payment counter before fleeing with several items from the store. The thieves took off with cash, 2 cartons of cigarettes, several donation boxes that were placed on the counter, as well as a mobile phone belonging to the female victim. The total value of losses was estimated at 800 ringgit. One of the suspects has 11 criminal records and 7 cases related to drugs. The 3 suspects were remanded for 5 days until December 5th to assist further investigations. As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look at the world's best free skiers showcasing their skills and prowess at the Free Ski World Cup event in Beijing. With that, I'm Nadia Azmi. Thank you for watching and be well, Malaysia.